Directed.
The Cache Valley Media Group's Holiday Gift Show is now accepting applications for the 2024 show November 8th and 9th at the Riverwoods Conference Center. Show your creative, unique, festive, and one-of-a-kind gift ideas to thousands of holiday shoppers. This wonderful gift show is truly a step above. Search Logan Holiday Gift Show for details or call 752-1390 for more information. The Logan Holiday Gift Show is presented by Coppins Hallmark. Space is limited. Reserve your booth today. 752-1390.
From all of us at Rocky Mountain Dermatology, we are honored once again to be voted Best of Northern Utah in Dermatology and Weight Loss Center. It's all thanks to our incredible team and loyal customers.
Moving and eating better every day can help make you and your kids healthier. Search We Can online to find out more. A message from the Ad Council, HHS, and NIH's We Can program.
News Talk 610 AM, 102.1 FM, KVNU.
It's time for the Garden Guide with your host, Mark Anderson from Anderson Seed and Garden.
New research suggests that people are more likely to eat vegetables if they have a tempting name.
What a life be without homegrown tomatoes? Only two things that money can't buy, and that's true love and homegrown tomatoes.
From gardening to landscaping.
Today we are going to try and create garden eyebrows. Kind of like the flowers are sprouting directly from your hair. That makes sense.
Phone lines are open at 753-KVNU or 800-369-KVNU.
Kind of like eating vegetables.
It's the Garden Guide, now on KVNU 610 AM and 102 FM.
Oh, we welcome you to the show on a very fall-like Saturday morning. It's great to have you along with us. I'm Will Feelright, along with Mark Anderson of Anderson Seed and Garden. And as we were just talking off air, Mark, I think we can officially say that gardening season, at least some, is pretty much over.
Out in my garden, it is over.
Yeah,
we cleaned it all up yesterday. So got rid of the last of the corn stalks. Gathered in the carrots and the beets, so those are all in storage now. And tomato plants were toast.
Yeah,
they were shot, so they went in the dumpster.
Even if you were using frost cloth, I mean, we were down into the high 20s.
Yeah, it was cold enough. So we planned ahead because we knew that our garden's pretty good size. So we've got 8,000 square foot garden. So I will order a green waste dumpster from the landfill, and they just drop it off right in front of my garden.
Oh.
And so then everything that comes out that I can't just work back into the soil, and I don't want to work the tomatoes back into the soil.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had a whole bunch of sunflowers, and those sunflower stalks are so hard that they don't break down they don't break down very easily. So those all go in the green waste dumpster. Okay. Then we had a whole bunch of branches, and it was time to clean up all the perennials. And it was just a nice place. And I don't have a shredder to shred some of that stuff and use it back in the garden. So it goes down to the composting facility. So.
If you can allow it to be reused and composted, that's always a great thing to do.
Yeah.
I know those shredders are really, really fabulous. The only problem you got to deal with is you got to make sure once you may remember, what was it, about 6 or 7 years ago when we had that early winter storm that just brought down a number of trees.
Yeah.
We pulled out the shredder and we were shredding tree branches left and right and putting all that in our garden. But if you don't treat it with some humic and
some nitrogen.
Yeah, it's just not going to break down.
It breaks it all down. Yeah, and when you have all that organic matter, you don't want to waste it, and I can't put it back all into my garden, so it's going to the compost facility. I'll let somebody else take advantage of it. So use that service.
Yeah.
Use that service. It's available to everyone if you can get down to the green waste and drop off that material. That works.
Now, we've got just a couple shows left. In fact, this week and next week are the final shows.
That's it.
And so we want to take your calls this morning on all things gardening. If you have something you'd like to call in and ask a question for Mark Anderson, Anderson Seed and Garden, or if you've got just a comment of some of the things that you've learned this past gardening season. We want to hear what those are this morning as well. Phone lines are open at 435-753-5868. And as we've done in the past, we've got a 4-pack of tickets to Loveland Living Planet Aquarium that we're going to give away the end of the show.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You can use these anytime in the next 6 months. They think they run up through the end of March, so just under 6 months. Use them anytime. Go down and enjoy Loveland Living Planet Aquarium down there. They're actually putting on a brand new expansion that they're adding to, and so a lot of exciting things happening down there. If you'd like to go, just be one of our callers today, and we will randomly draw at the end of the show a winner to win those 4-pack of tickets. So 435-753-5868 is the phone number. And before we start getting into calls, a lot going on at Anderson Seed and Garden and also downtown today.
And on Center Street is right. So there's a lot happening. Of course, we're finishing up our cash sale, and so everything in stock right now, and there's not a lot left, but there are still some really nice trees. I can't believe they're still there, and some really nice shrubs as well, too. 75% off on all of our remaining nursery stock if you pay with cash. And then we've also discounted our fall blooming mums. They're half price right now. So half price for fall blooming mums, 75% off if you pay with cash on our remaining nursery stock. So that's trees, evergreens, shrubs, vines. There's still some nice roses. There were some great looking shrubs. There was a couple Japanese maples, which I can't believe are still there, and some fruit trees and some nice shade trees as well, too. So 75% off on the cash sale. So if you pay with cash, you get 75% off. Otherwise, it's half price. And those mums are looking really good still. Half price, get a little bit of color in your yard. They can handle the frost, so no problems there. And then I think today, just today, since the weather is so great for the next couple days, you need to get out and plant your bulbs. And so we're going to do a bulb special. So if you are listening today, we're going to do a special. And when you come in and you buy bulbs today, if you mention that you heard about the radio special on KVNU this morning, we'll do 25% off on our fall planted bulbs. So that's tulips, daffodils, hyacinths, crocus, and other miscellaneous bulbs, not the amaryllis bulbs. Yeah, so amaryllis bulbs are in too.
Planted bulbs.
Yep, so bulbs you're planting right now outside in the garden, those are 25% off for your fall planted spring blooming bulbs. And then we do have quite a few corn stalks left over, and they've been, I think they've been $7 a bundle for the corn stalks. We're going to do those for $2 today. So it's time to decorate. If you haven't decorated your front porch and you want an inexpensive option, we've got corn stalks at Anderson's. And we're just going to do them for $2 a bundle. So really great deal on the corn stalks. You're getting those for 65% off.
Great.
Not too shabby. And then downtown today, we've got the Center Street Witches Dance and Halloween Festival. So I think they're closing the street off at noon. It'll be closed from noon until 10. And there's all kinds of activities today from 5 o'clock until 9. So starting at 5 o'clock, there's like food trucks. There's going to be games like cornhole and I Spy. They've got a costume contest for people and for pets at 6:15. And then we've got the Cemetery Scramble, which is a whole bunch of businesses on Center Street. And it's not really a scavenger hunt. This is more of a completing the activity. So we've got a puzzle. And if you go and complete all these different activities, you get a piece of the puzzle, and then you get and then you can like solve the riddle. And so it's the Cemetery Scramble. There's a whole bunch of businesses participating. If you want to play the Cemetery Scramble with your kids, and this is the whole idea, come down, have some fun with your kids. You get your starting piece at Anderson's. So we can give you either the digital map, or we've got some hard copies as well too. But Cemetery Scramble starts at 5 o'clock. And then we've got crafts going on, live music. They've got pumpkin decorating, movies at the Utah Theater.
Yeah, I think they're doing Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Yeah, a whole bunch of different things. And then the Witches Dance is at 7:15 and at 7:45. So lots of fun stuff happening tonight on Center Street, starting at 5 o'clock. Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of things going on, and a great time to come in to Anderson Seed and Garden. Take advantage of that bulb special for today. 25% off on your planted bulbs. And really, we say, oh, it's the end of the gardening season, but really gardening season doesn't really end, Mark, if you think about it. And you're always looking ahead, bulbs can go in right now. You can definitely start prepping your garden for next season.
So yesterday, as we were like cleaning up the garden, then we started putting some compost back out there. And as we were pulling those tomato plants up, the ones that I used the Bigfoot on, we've been talking about Bigfoot the last a couple weeks on the show, and the root systems were 2 to 3 feet across.
Wow,
on my tomato plants. They were massive. And then you can't believe how big the root system was on my giant pumpkin. Like it was absolutely massive. Like I ended up tearing all the roots off because the root ball was so big. It was just so big it couldn't pull it out. So those beneficial microbes and microorganisms and mycorrhiza in with the Bigfoot, they just make your plants develop the biggest root systems that they possibly can. And when they have big root systems like that, they pick up more water, they pick up more nutrient, and your plants just perform a lot better. So kind of blew me away. But as we were cleaning up the yard and the garden and pulling those plants out, we started putting compost down. So leaves and grass clippings are going back out in the garden, a little bit of straw, and then a whole bunch of compost. So I got some poultry compost, I got a little bit of steer compost, and so I just started spreading that out over the entire garden. And then I'm going to put some zeolite down. So the zeolite, you can broadcast that on with a broadcast spreader. I'm going to put some mushroom compost out there. And the mushroom compost is amazing for your plants. It's got lots of good organic matter in there, but it also has lots of good beneficial bacteria and microbes that build your soil back up. So the mushroom compost is going out this year. And then some humate. And then we'll put a little bit of nitrogen out there. I'm going to do a carbon-based nitrogen. And so it's a new one to try out. It's called Pro Peat. So the carrier is a peat moss base, even though it's got a high nitrogen in there. It's got lots and lots of micronutrients. Then I'll probably put a little bit of azomite out there to build the minerals and the micronutrients back up. And it's going to get all tilled in next week. So I can hardly wait to see how nice the garden looks for next year as well too. So the idea is to use a variety of different materials. Don't use a lot of any one material, but use a little bit of leaves and grass clippings, use a little bit of straw, use a little bit of wood shavings or sawdust out there, and a little bit of compost. And the more variety of different materials that you use to put back into your soil, variety is the key. We want to have 3 or 4 different materials in smaller quantities, maybe a ½ inch to an inch of multiple items. And then as you work that back into your soil, there's nothing that's taking over everything. If you put 4 inches of compost out there and it's a real high in urea, like a steer compost, that could burn your plants and cause problems for next year. But if you balance that out with some leaves and some grass clippings and some straw and some organic matter from the landfill, it will balance things out and you won't have any problems that way. But it's critical, like you said, Will. You got to get the nitrogen out there, you got to get the humate out there, and then I like to add the zeolite for water retention and drainage, and then I add the azomite as well to boost the minerals and the micronutrients, and your vegetables taste better.
I just think back to the days of my grandpa, and he loved to garden, and he loved his manure. And man, you'd go out there, and that place would almost glow at night, a greenish color, because he put that stuff on so thick. I'm sure it was not good for us back in the day.
Well, that's basically all they had, So they're just using what they've got. But fortunately, we have some inexpensive options. So if you get some of the compost from the landfill right now, it's like $15 for a truckload, and they'll just fill up your truck for $15, and it's got lots of organic matter in there, but they've also boosted it with the biosolids from the water treatment facility. So this is a complete product. It's a really great product to put out on your garden. There's lots of composted poultry products out there. Oakdale locally here. They put out a great product. Miller's puts out some amazing products, not just steer compost, because when you think about Miller's, you think about steer compost, but they've got some poultry compost and a whole bunch of different things. They've got biochar now, so we're going to be carrying their biochar next year. So I'm hoping to get a tote of biochar to throw out there in my garden as well, too. So my garden's going to get the royal treatment this year. It's getting a little bit of everything. And we're gonna have a great garden again next year. So good time to do that.
Excellent. All right, well, let's go out to the phones. We have joining us first on the line from Dayton. Kathy is been holding. Kathy, welcome to the show.
Hi, you just answered most of my questions here about how I've got an area that I'm going to try and get raspberries to grow in, and they haven't grown there very well.
Yes.
So I'm hoping that if I do all this composting stuff, that maybe next year we'll actually get more than 5 berries. Does that feel better?
That would be nice, wouldn't it? More than 5 berries? That'd be amazing.
Yeah, after all that work.
Yeah, so
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just wondering, since you answered all my other questions, what kind of berries would be good to plant? I want something that bears well.
You know, there are a lot of great raspberries, and the one that is in highest demand right now that everybody seems to want is called Joan J. And Joan J is an everbearing raspberry, but it's thornless. And so it's easier to pick. It's very productive. It's got nice, big, juicy berries. It's amazing. And that's one that everybody's been asking for. But we still sell a lot of Heritage. We sell a lot of Canby. We sell Cowichan. We sell Polana. There's some really great berries out there that do well in our area and are hardy enough, produce really well. The key with the raspberries is as you're preparing the area for them, make sure the soil is loose and light and fluffy, not hard compacted clay, because we've planted in part of our yard, and the soil's a little bit heavier, and the raspberries just are not really happy. So I've got to do the same thing. I've got to rejuvenate that soil and really get it loosened up and get some good organic matter in there, and the raspberries will do a lot better.
Okay, this is going to be a weird question. I have some applesauce I made a very long time ago, and I'm throwing it out. Would that be good to put in the ground there?
Absolutely. Where it's been processed. It's not going to have a whole lot of nutritional value in there, but instead of just chucking it, you could reincorporate that back into the garden. There's going to be a little bit of fiber and a little bit of nutrient value in there, but not a whole lot. It's not going to cause any problems for sure.
Okay. Next thing is what we learned last year. I learned that my red apples do not need to wait till the freeze before I pick them. I wasn't even messing with them because I knew they had to wait till the freeze, so I was taking care of the peaches and the plums, and I lost a whole tree of apples because I wasn't paying attention. Yeah. And my yellow delicious are there, and they're fine, and they're just getting sweet now, but the other ones, I just didn't even look at them because it hadn't frozen yet, so I wasn't.
Yep. And there's a I guess misunderstanding that you've got to wait for that frost, and in some cases, sometimes the frost doesn't really come, even though we're starting to get colder temperatures. And so, really, what I recommend to everyone who's growing fruit trees, especially apples, is throughout the growing season, depending on when their maturity is, just start checking the apples. Once a week, I'll go out there and I'll pick an apple or two and I'll cut them open and look for the seeds on the inside. And if the seeds have turned a really dark brown, then it's time to pick them. And so I picked all my apples 2 weeks ago because they were pretty much ready to go, and got them in cold storage. Had a bunch yesterday. Yeah, so
that was my sad lesson because I really like those other apples. They're soury, sweet, and good. And some apples mature in August, and some mature in September, and some mature the first part of October, and some mature the end of October. And if you wait too long, you can start to have some quality issues. They'll start to deteriorate, and then they won't keep very well for you. No, mine aren't keeping at all. They're dead. Anyway, lesson learned. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling this morning, Kathy. You have a wonderful weekend.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, let's go back out to the phone lines and take Jim's call from Logan. Jim, welcome to the show.
Hi. I got a question. I've got a Rowan tree, and the bark is splitting in several places around the base of the trunk, and I'm not sure what's going on there.
Is how long have you had that tree?
Oh, the tree is probably 30 years old.
Oh, so it's been there for quite a while. Because when the trees are younger and they've got that younger bark on there, they're more tender. They'll split. With the mature bark coming off, it could be they just grew really quickly, and the bark isn't it doesn't have as much elasticity, and so it'll split open. You still might want to treat that area with a pruning sealer to help cover that up. The tree will create new bark. It'll cover those wounds up. But in the meantime, it kind of will damage the circulatory system of the tree, and then you'll see parts of the tree kind of start to die back when you have splits and cracks in the bark like that. It's like getting clogged arteries, and the water and nutrient can't flow through the tree circulatory system like it ought to. And so a little bit of pruning sealer and a wrap would probably help so that can heal properly. As for the cause, there's a lot of different things that could cause it. As far as I know, there's not any diseases that would cause it. It's probably just environmental. It's probably just from the fluctuations in weather, temperature. Could have had a really quick growth spurt and split it open. If you wanted to bring some pictures in, I'd be glad to take a look at it. But it's hard to say.
It's several places on the trunk.
Yeah.
And it looks like underneath the bark, the wood itself is kind of deteriorating, and they're quite large.
Yeah. Definitely grab some pictures, and you can bring them into the store, or you can send them to my email. A lot of people send me pictures of different things where they can't, just get down to the store. You can send it to askmark@AndersonSeedAndGarden.com. And when I get those photos, I'll take a look at them and send you a message back. So ask Mark at AndersonSeedAndGarden.com. I'd be glad to take a look at it.
I appreciate it. I'll do that.
That will help a lot, Jim, because from your description, I can't really tell, but the pictures will help maybe reveal some things that we can't see otherwise.
I didn't know if there was maybe borer or something got in there.
Yes. Yeah. So send me a picture of the whole tree as well too, and so I can see the shape of the tree as well. And if it's still got leaves on there, send me a picture of some branches with some leaves, and then the trunk where you've got the damage. That will be very helpful.
Very good.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. You have a great weekend.
Bye.
All right. See you, Jim. All right. We've got phone lines open. The phone number is 753-5868, 753-KVNU, and we would love to have you join us here on the Garden Guide. It looks like we've got another caller.
We do. Yeah. We have Chris joining us on the line from Logan. Chris, welcome to the show.
Hi. Hey, Mark, I really like your show.
Thank you.
Keep doing it.
Yeah, you bet.
Anyway.
You bet. Thank you.
So I have some onions that have sprouted. Are they safe to eat?
Where they've sprouted, they will be just fine to eat. It can affect the flavor a little bit.
Oh.
And so they might be a little hotter than sweet, because they're putting some of the strength of the onion from the bulb back into the growth up on top. But they will be just fine to eat, so no problems. They just might, the flavor might be off a little bit.
Okay, can I eat the green part or just...
Absolutely, yeah. So those onion greens should be great. You're gonna have a nice green onion flavor off of those.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling this morning. You have a wonderful weekend, Chris.
You too. Okay, bye-bye.
See ya.
Okay, and Carson's been hanging on the line from Newton. Carson, welcome to the show. Good morning.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, I was wondering, do I need to spray my fruit trees with anything this fall or just wait till spring?
That's a great question. There are a couple problems that we like to try and control in the fall as the leaves are coming off the trees, which is right now. And so for apples and pears, there's an insect that gets into the leaves that can transfer over to the fruit and cause your fruit to kind of go russety. And so it'll have kind of a rough exterior texture instead of the nice, smooth, colorful skin that it's supposed to have. And it's called a blister mite. And the blister mites will transfer from the leaves that are falling off the trees right now to the buds that are forming for leaves to come out next year. And so we usually recommend like a horticultural oil or a dormant oil spray right when you get about 50, 60% of the leaves have dropped off, and then you spray, and then that will kill them as they're transferring over to the new leaf buds that are forming on the trees right now. At the same time, you can add a little bit of disease control in with it, so like a copper soap or fungicide 5 or F-stop. There's a whole bunch of really good fungicides you can use on fruit trees, and it will stop diseases from wintering over as well. And on like all your stone fruits like cherries and peaches and apricots and plums, there's a disease that transfers over. It's called shot hole fungus or corinium blight, and it transfers over to the tree in the fall as well too. And so when you mix those two together, you get some insect control as well as some disease control, and you can just spray all your fruit trees right now. And when you spray them, it'll knock all the extra leaves off, and so you don't have to continuously clean up leaves, which is really kind of a nice side benefit. But it will control insects and diseases that may winter over and start to cause problems for next year. So it's a really important spray, but not very many people do it.
Okay, and what's the name of that first spray you mentioned?
So the first spray is just a horticultural oil. So it's usually a mineral oil or a canola oil. So it's very non-toxic. It's very safe to use and very effective at controlling, mites and blister mites and scale and things that are going to winter over for next year. And then for the disease control, you can use anything with a copper base to it. So copper soap, copper sulfate. The fungicide 5 is excellent. It's a bacteria, so it's a beneficial bacteria. It does a great job on all kinds of diseases. F-stop, any of those would be superb.
Okay, and can I combine those?
Mix them right together and do it all at once. Yeah, you got it.
Great, thanks. One other question. When does your 2025 calendar come out?
You know what? We are ready to send it off to the printer, and so I'm hoping by the first full week of November, it's going to be ready to go. So I've got the final proof in my bag with me right now. So great question, Carson. Yeah, some awesome pictures. The photos are looking really great. And we've got some, a few new things in the calendar. What I've found out over the years doing the calendar is like the dates don't change that much. The months are kind of the same every year. So we always try and throw something new in there. So.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for calling, Carson. You have a wonderful weekend.
You as well.
All right, see ya. Bye.
Okay, we've got a few calls. We're going to hit the bottom of the hour here and then come back and take more of your calls. As we mentioned at the top of the hour, all of our callers have a chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to the Loveland Living Planet Aquarium that we're going to be giving away at the end of the show. So still got plenty of time to call in with a question or comment for Mark, as we are getting near the end of the season, as we call it.
That's right. And don't forget, we've got the bulb special going on today. So if you mention you heard it on the radio, get 25% off our fall planted bulbs. Cash sale still going on. And we've got a special on corn stalks, so you can decorate your porch for Halloween. $2 for a nice big bundle of corn stalks. And I think we've got them normally for like $7. Okay. So you can't beat it. And we do have hay bales as well too. So some great things happening this weekend at Anderson's, as well as the Witches Dance tonight starting at 4:00. All kinds of fun activities downtown.
Okay. Yeah. And we'll take more calls coming up in just a minute as the Garden Guide continues here on KVNU.
KBNU News. The Utah Division of Outdoor Recreation will stop in Nibley on December 11th as part of its 2024 statewide grant workshop tour. The free workshop, scheduled from 10 a.m. to noon, will provide an overview of available outdoor recreation funding and guidance on applying for grants. The workshop is aimed at local governments, nonprofits, and outdoor recreation advocates seeking to improve Utah's outdoor spaces and infrastructure. Participants will receive advice on writing strong grant applications, managing budgets, and maximizing project outcomes through multiple funding sources. The parents of a woman accused of killing her husband in Cottonwood Heights have been arrested for what police said was their part in covering up a murder. 71-year-old Thomas Ray Gledhill and 67-year-old Rosalie Gledhill were taken into custody on Thursday. Their daughter, 41-year-old Jennifer Gledhill, was charged with the murder of her husband, Matthew Johnson. Officials with the Cottonwood Heights Police Department said she killed Johnson with a handgun while he slept, then removed his body from their home. Johnson had originally been reported missing by his wife. Jennifer was charged with murder after police say an informant came forward. Officials believe Thomas and Rosalie Gledhill helped their daughter clean her home after the murder. During the execution of a search warrant, investigators found bloodstains in the master bedroom underneath a newly purchased mattress. Pretty nice weekend. Partly cloudy to mostly sunny skies. Saturday around 70, and then Sunday upper 60s. Slight chance of rain by Monday afternoon. Get more news at CashValleyDaily.com.
I'm Alex Obario. Game 1 of the highly anticipated Dodgers-Yankees World Series did not disappoint on Friday. A pitcher's duel early, but tied at 2 after 9. Needed extra innings to declare a winner. Yankees did take a 3-2 lead into the bottom of the 10th inning, but with Nestor Cortez on the mound, he would walk Mookie Betts to load the bases for Freddie Freeman, who took a mighty swing at the first pitch he saw.
Swing and a drive! Right field! On its way! Gone! Ball game! A walk-off grand slam! Freddie Freeman! And the Dodgers take Game 1! Holy cow!
Boog Shambi on ESPN Radio. Dodgers with a 6-3 win over the Yankees in Game 1, taking a 1-0 series lead in the best-of-7 series. Freeman, the first player in World Series history to hit a walk-off grand slam, was asked after the game on ESPN Radio what it felt like swinging at that first pitch to win it.
Yankees had that Game 1 like so many times. It was just like,
hit them and for it to be in that situation, that's pretty cool. Those are the stuff you think about when you're a kid in your backyard playing football with your brothers, my 2 older brothers, hi Andrew and Philip. You know, those are the things that you dream about, and for it to actually come true, it's pretty incredible.
Freeman had a triple and a home run in Game 1 after not having an extra base hit the entire postseason. Freeman, the first Dodger player to hit a walk-off in a World Series since Mac Muncy in 2018. Game 2 will be Saturday from Dodger Stadium, can be heard on ESPN Radio. In college football, number 17 Boise State now in the driver's seat in the Mountain West and potentially a spot in the college football playoff as they defeated UNLV 29-24 on Friday. Ashton Genty, the Heisman Trophy favorite, rushed for 128 yards and the game-winning touchdown to push the Broncos to 6-1. Also on Friday, Louisville rallied from 20 down to beat Boston College 31-27, and USC back in the win column with a 42-20 victory over Rutgers. And in the NBA, Karl Anthony Towns 21-15 in his Knicks home debut. New York dismantled the Pacers 123-98.
My name is Bill Campbell, and I am running for Utah's 1st Congressional District, and I approve this message.
Hey, Jaden Lowerson here. If you know me, you know I love America, Utah, and Cache Valley. And I love you. You, the people, are what help make this place so special. So I want someone who will work for you and prioritize you. Bill Campbell is that best choice in Congress.
Cache Valley Daily has teamed up with Schreiber Foods to bring you a Halloween home tour. If you or your neighbors have filled your yard with creepy crawlies, glowing pumpkins, or things that go bump in the night, we want to know. Submit your home at CacheValleyDaily.com, and you could win up to $500 in cash and prizes. Cache Valley Daily is mapping out the best Halloween homes in Cache Valley, and we want yours. Schreiber Foods is giving away cash and prizes to the top 3 homes. But hurry, because haunting season is here.
The Garden Guide with Mark Anderson from Anderson Seed and Garden on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
Welcome back to the show on this very fall, cool Saturday morning. We started 30 degrees and we're up to 34, Mark.
Ooh, it's balmy outside now.
Just looking, though, Montpelier right now, 23.
Yeah, a little chilly over in Montpelier.
So,
yeah, I can believe that.
It is, like we mentioned at the top of the hour, at the beginning of the show, kind of at the end of the gardening season.
Sounds like we got a good-sized storm coming this week, too. So, you know, cool down and some moisture coming in. We've got rain, snow in the forecast. So
good time to start thinking about fertilizing the lawn. Get that fertilizer down before the snow falls.
Our secondary water got shut off yesterday, so got the pipes all drained and cleaned out and everything.
Blown out. So
yep.
good.
So we're done for watering this year. It's just up to Mother Nature. But we did mow the lawn and mowed it really close the other day, and we'll continue to do that because it's gonna grow a little bit more. So a nice close trim on the lawn as we're getting into November and even December. I'll do that last mow right before that snowstorm that's going to stick and stay, and a little bit of winterizer between Halloween and Thanksgiving. Just doesn't get any better than that. Yeah, I got to put it on late, so we want to go here in the next couple of weeks for a winterizer, trim the lawn a little bit closer, vole repellent or vole baits if you've had vole problems. This is the time to do that too. Make sure if you have had vole problems to make sure and mow that lawn close because they like that long, shaggy grass through the wintertime. So,
or look
really
at
help
getting a cat, whatever it is, because if they were here last year, they're going to be
back again this year. Yeah, they're going to be back again. So.
It's kind of like how I have a favorite restaurant in the valley, and every week it's like, I want to go there.
Yep. The voles are going to come and find you.
Yeah. So before we get back out to the phone lines, a quick reminder of everything happening today at Anderson Seed and Garden.
Yes, so a lot happening today. We've got the cash sale continues. We've got some great plants still, trees, some really nice shrubs, some vines, some roses, 75% off if you pay with cash. And we're starting to run low, so hurry and get in and get them. There's some nice cotoneasters. There's a couple of Japanese maples. There's some really nice fruit trees. I think there's some flowering cherries still, and there are some roses and some nice vines. So we've got some good-looking plants. 75% off if you pay with cash. And then for today only, we're doing a bulb special. And with our bulb special, make sure and mention that you heard it on the radio, and we'll give 25% off all of our tulips, daffodils, hyacinths, crocus, allium, all those fall planted spring flowering bulbs, 25% off for today only if you mention you heard it on the radio. And then to decorate your porch with, we've got some corn stalks. I think they're normally $7 for a bundle, and we are doing those for $2 today. So a great way to decorate your porch, decorate your yard, make it feel festive for the Halloween coming up. And then we do have the Witches Dance and the Halloween Festival today on Center Street.
Runs from 5 to 9.
5 until 9, and there's like food trucks, there's games, there's activities, there's the Witches Dance at 7:15, and also at 7:45. The Cemetery Scramble for great activity for kids to go to different businesses on Center Street and do an activity at each business. You'll get prizes, and there's a riddle to solve as well too. So start that at Anderson Seed and Garden. You'll get the map of the cemetery to go chase around and complete some activities. It should be really fun.
Yeah.
And then once you put the pieces all together, then you get the secret message or the answer for the riddle by putting all your pieces together.
So some sweet prizes.
Yeah, some cool stuff going on. And then there's pumpkin decorating, there's live music, there's crafts, and there's a movie at the Utah Theater. So we got all kinds of fun things going on Center Street tonight to celebrate Halloween.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go out to the phone lines. Neil is joining us on the line from Logan. Neil, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
We got you, Neil.
Oh, okay. Thanks for taking my call. Just a quick question. My daughter planted some tomatoes kind of late in our garden spot here, and I'm just curious. I want your opinion as to if there's going to be enough warm days going forward to make it worth the effort of covering them up and uncovering them and covering them up going forward. They've got small tomatoes on them right now, but I don't know. I'm just thinking I should let them freeze and save the effort. I wanted to get your opinion.
Looking at the weather forecast, starting on Monday, it's going to drop into the mid-50s, and then Tuesday through next Monday, so for a week, it's going to be 40s. I don't think they're gonna do anything, and then that drops us down into the 20s almost every night, and so I think it's time to harvest them and get what you can off of it. And the ones that are kind of starting to ripen up, you could probably put those in the fruit room and get them to maybe ripen up a little bit off the vines as well too. But I think we're toast for this year.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to get your opinion. I could tell her that and not just say I'm going to do this.
I appreciate your asking the question, but we've had amazing weather up to this point. Amazing weather. I've been able to get almost all my tomatoes to ripen, and we just used them and used them and used them. And yesterday I was just like, okay, weather's changing. They're toast. They pulled those all out. I'm done.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciated your show during the summer.
Oh, very good. Thanks.
A lot of good ideas.
Thanks so much for calling, Neil. I appreciate it.
Have a good day.
You too.
Phone lines are open, 753-5868, if you have a question, comment for Mark. And let's go back out to Maggie, who's joining us on the line from Logan. Welcome to the show, Maggie.
Good morning. This is Maggie. Thank you. So happy that I was able to get you.
Yes.
I have begonia that I bought from you. This it's the first time I do begonias. I've always wanted to, but I've been scared to.
Yes.
And the wonderful people there in your garden told me to go ahead and just I wanted it for my front door right there on the outside. And it gets the morning sun. It's beautiful. Everybody loves it. But I don't want to pull it out of the pot. Is this something that I can leave in there and continue to enjoy indoors, or should I pull it out?
You can bring it indoors for a little while, but at some point the sunlight is going to get so short that it's going to struggle. So what we do with our begonias is I will pull those out of the soil, and you should have a nice good sized tuber there. It might be the size of a baseball. And we'll trim the tops off so that there's about an inch or inch and a half of stem left on the bulb, but trim the tops off. And then we store them in just wood shavings. And I'll put them down in the basement where it stays, 40 to 50 degrees, and just store them in the wood shavings. And the stems will dry up, and they'll kind of feed the bulb back a little bit. And then next spring, it'll be ready to plant again and enjoy the plant again. So you can actually winter those over quite easily. We start ours up usually in like March. We'll plant those up and get them growing. And so that by the time we hit Mother's Day, Memorial Day, the plants are already growing and starting to bloom at that point, and they can enjoy them all summer long.
Thank you so very much. All right.
You're welcome.
Well, great weekend. It sounds like fun today. So
yes.
All
kinds of fun. Thanks for calling this morning, Maggie. You have a great weekend.
You as well. Bye-bye.
Right, bye-bye.
All right, we've got Todd, who's holding on the line from Logan. Todd, thanks for holding. Welcome to the show.
Well, thanks, you guys. Appreciate you taking my call. And good morning.
Good morning, Todd.
Hey, I understand you guys are going to be in the witches' dance. Is that correct?
That is incorrect.
Oh, darn it. So no, my source was wrong then.
I don't even have my witch's costume on today. I'm protesting the Dodgers win last night. So.
Okay, well, I heard Will was going to do it then.
Absolutely.
Okay. Hey, Mark, I got a question for you. My sunchoke is 6 feet tall, and it is leaning. And the roots are coming out. Does that mean it's time for harvest?
That means it's time to gather them up, yes. So
okay.
dig those puppies up. It's time for them to come out.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's what you told me months ago, and I neglected your advice.
Yep. So dig those up and cut the top off, and you can eat them. You can prepare them, or you can try and store them for next spring.
Okay, how's the best way to prepare them?
Well, you kind of do them like potatoes, is what I understand, and they've got kind of a sweet, nutty flavor, so a little bit different.
Okay, that'll do it on that one.
Yeah,
I got another couple of questions.
If you're going to eat them, otherwise you store them just like the begonia bulbs that I mentioned for Maggie. Just clean them up. You don't have to wash them off or anything. Just get the excess dirt off of them, and then just store them in wood shavings. They should be great, cool and dry.
Okay, a couple more short questions, real quick. You said that there was a new product to take care of raspberry borer?
There is.
I think I already picked it up, but maybe it didn't.
Yep.
You said that Dave recommended or something?
It's an insect drench, and it was recommended to us by Clayton from Monterey Products. And it's one you can mix up in water and then just water your raspberries with. And you want to do it usually in May, early June. Usually we recommend right around Mother's Day to Memorial Day. and it will control raspberry cane borer from the inside out, but it won't affect your fruit. So very, 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 very effective on the cane borer throughout the borer season.
So that will be before it blooms then?
Exactly. You want to do it before they bloom.
Okay. I think that's all I had to ask you.
Wonderful.
I appreciate it so much.
Hey, thanks for calling this morning, Todd. You have a wonderful weekend.
You too, you guys. Appreciate it.
See ya.
Appreciate it very much.
Yep. Bye-bye.
All right, and let's go back out to the phone lines. We have Bob, who is joining us on the line. Bob, welcome to the show.
Hello, Mark.
Hey, how's it going?
Okay, how are you doing?
Not too shabby.
Good. Question, you've got roses for sale, so I'm assuming it's still okay to plant those this year?
Absolutely. So trees and shrubs and roses and any type of plant, we have planted as late as the first week of December and had very, very good results wintering them over. You just want to do it before the ground freezes, so the soil's still workable. A great time to plant right now. I don't have a lot of roses left. Last I looked, there was like 6 or 8, but we still have some. And it's 75% off. You can't beat it. So
that's right. But in order to make space for those, I need to move some hibiscus.
Yeah.
Is it okay to move those this time of year?
That would work out just fine. Yep.
Okay.
Great.
Just dig them out, prep the soil, and put the roses back.
And plant them back in, and then make sure and water them with a nice root stimulator like kangaroo roots. You want to get the roots reestablished before next year. Dig your holes extra wide so you have little nice compost, little soil amendment worked in there to kind of help them get that root system to spread out. And great time to do it. October, early November. Excellent for moving those perennials and some shrubs. Trim them back a little bit if it's a woody plant. So should work out great.
Okay, great. Sounds like a good afternoon then.
Especially with the weather as nice as it is, take advantage of it. Today and tomorrow looks amazing, but after that, it's not looking so great outside. So,
well, we better get out there while we can.
That's right.
So,
super.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate your help.
Thanks, Bob. Have a good one.
All right.
Too.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
I remember.
Speaking of cold temperatures, we were talking earlier, Montpelier's around 24 degrees. We've got Lyle joining us on the line from Clifton. It's pretty cold up there, too. Lyle, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Appreciate you taking my call.
You bet, Lyle.
My question has to do with last year I received a kind of a gift from you for calling in and got 2 plants called sundews or something like that related to sunflowers. And I'm wondering now about digging them and how you make use of them.
Yep, so that was the question that Todd just had. So it's the sun chokes. So they look like sunflowers. Now's the time to just trim those down to the ground, and then you can dig the tubers up and you can eat them. And you prepare them kind of like you can do potatoes. I've seen people like stir fry them. I've seen people bake them. There's a whole bunch of different ways. If you search online, there's going to be a ton of recipes on how to do sunchokes or Jerusalem artichokes. They're also called Jerusalem artichokes. And you can store some to plant for next year, or I'll have a few more bulbs next spring if you want to plant some new ones and eat the ones that you grew yourself this year. But they have kind of a sweet, nutty flavor, and they're kind of crunchy. So I would say similar to like a jicama potato texture, and slightly different flavor than both of those.
All right. Thank you for your information.
You're so welcome, Lyle. You have a great weekend, and stay warm up there in Clifton.
Okay, we will. Thank you.
All right. We'll see you.
And we have Catherine join us on the line from Newton. Catherine, welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you. I have a couple of questions, actually, kind of different ones. The first one is we have our lawn, and we were getting really bad mushrooms in our lawn.
Yeah.
But it was really brown. It wasn't like we kept thinking we can't be overwatering it because it's brown.
It's drying up, yeah.
What do we do about the mushrooms? So
mushrooms grow from spores, and yes, you're right. In some cases, it's because there's a lot of moisture there as well. But in some cases, it's just the conditions. And what we found is the mushrooms kind of tend to congregate or populate areas where there's a lot of decaying organic matter. So there may be a root system from a tree or something that's decomposing there, and that's where the mushrooms are growing. A lot of times I'll have people come in and it's like, I got this one spot in my yard, and it's like the mushrooms keep coming up in there. And we're like, did you have a tree there or anything? And they're like, no trees that we just built the house just a few years ago. And then come to find out when they were clearing the lot, a big old tree was there, and part of it got buried, and then now it's decomposing, and all of a sudden the mushrooms are coming up. So the best way to control those is to physically remove the mushrooms that are there right now. You can use a rake or a small shovel or whatever, and just get rid of the mushrooms, but kind of keep an eye on where they are located. And then I have a product that is called Consan 20. The Consan 20 is a disinfectant deodorizer. We use it around the store a lot to disinfect, shopping carts, and we used it during COVID to disinfect areas. But it's great for disease control, and it does a really great job on fungal growths. So mushrooms, toadstools, fairy rings, things like that. And it's very, very safe to use on other plants. Won't hurt plants at all. Won't hurt your turf, but it'll take care of the mushrooms for sure. It does a really good job.
And then when I am taking out the mushrooms, do they have to be dug up, or they can just be popped off with a rake?
You can just pop them off with the rake, and then the Consan's going to help control that. And you'd treat with the Consan maybe once a week for a couple weeks, and then we'll leave it for the rest of the winter. And then next spring, maybe treat that same area a couple times to hopefully prevent them from coming up. But there's some sort of decomposing material in your soil there, whether it's an old root system or part of a tree or a trunk, or who knows.
Would that happen from not bagging our grass? Just
not really.
Shoot the grass out?
No. Never seen too much trouble with mulching your grass, but it's definitely a wood type material that's underneath there, and sometimes you never know what's buried below there.
Yeah. So. Okay, and then my next question is about berries and pruning them. We have some raspberries and some blackberries.
You got it.
The raspberries, I don't know what kind they are because we just got them from random places.
Sure.
So should we prune them back now or wait until the spring to cut them back? And then the same with our blackberries that fruited this year.
Right. So you don't have to know exactly what the variety is, but as long as we know whether it's a June bearing or a ever bearing, that will be great. If it produces in the fall, then it's a ever bearing. If it just produces in the middle of the summer and then it doesn't produce in the fall, then it's a June bearing. And we prune them a little bit differently, but for right now, I don't do too much pruning in the fall. I'll just kind of take the excess growth off the top and leave them at about 3 to 4 feet tall. If they're taller than that, then just trim them down to about 3 feet and just take all that excess growth off and just leave them. And then next spring we'll do a little bit more serious pruning to get things going. But I don't prune too heavy in the fall because you have some winter damage, and then you just have to prune them more again next spring. So very light pruning this fall.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome, Catherine. Thank you for calling. You have a great weekend.
Yeah, thanks. You too.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, and that wraps up quite a busy morning for you, Mark.
I was going to say we had quite a few phone calls. Yeah. That's awesome. I love it.
We're going to draw our winner coming up here in just a minute, but before we do, just a quick reminder, today happening at Anderson Seed and Garden, the cash sale is winding down.
Yep.
We've got a special bulb deal today.
Yeah, so if you've been listening today, make sure and come into the store and ask for the bulb special, I guess the radio special. You heard it on the radio, 25% off on our fall planted bulbs. So tulips, daffodils, hyacinths, crocus, allium, all those fall planted bulbs, 25% off does not include amaryllis.
The big ones.
Yeah, because those are for indoors. But for planting outside, all those bulbs, 25% off today if you mention that you heard it on the radio. 75% off our cash sale. So for remaining trees and shrubs and evergreens and vines and roses, 75% off if you pay with cash. And then our decorating special today, if you want to have a little bit of festive front porch or decorating around the house, we've got corn stalks that are normally $7. We're doing them on sale for $2. So we'll do a great special on the corn stalks. And then don't forget that the Witches Dance and Halloween Festival is going on tonight on Center Street. Starts at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah, 5 o'clock. And then we've got food trucks, and we've got activities. We've got the cemetery scramble, where you can find the puzzle pieces and put the puzzle together, solve the riddle of the center of the cemetery scramble, and decorating pumpkins. There's a costume contest, I Spy, cornhole, witches dance at 7:15 and at 7:45, and free movies at the Utah Theater.
Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I'm going to have you tell me when to stop. I'm going to take all of our names here, and I've put them in
your randomizer.
A dice here.
All right.
And you tell me when to stop, and we'll draw a winner.
Okay.
And it is number 6. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is Maggie from Logan.
All right, Maggie, congratulations.
She wins the 4-pack of tickets, so we'll give a call back to Maggie and get those tickets to her. A quick reminder that this is second to the last show, so we'll have one final show of the season. Of course, we'll be back next season.
Yes.
But next week will be the last show.
Can you believe it?
Yeah.
It's November next week already. It's crazy.
And before we know it, it's going to be Christmas. So thanks so much for joining us on The Garden Guide here on KVNU.
Stay with 610 AM and 102.1 FM. Breaking news and stimulating talk. KVNU